right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Philip Wigginton. I'm the manager of our Risk Management Service Department here at Nationwide E&S. We are going to chat a little bit about how to reduce nuclear verdicts and your exposure to them with Infinity Workforce Solutions. So I'm sure everybody's seen some type of news article about rising insurance rates and different companies going out of business. Here's some things that can help you to prevent some of that. This would help prevent large claims and potential nuclear verdicts. Training is one area that will definitely not only help better your drivers, but if properly administrated, it can help you improve your overall safety performance. Our commitment to be on your side, we provide tools that can help you in different areas, even training, and then we partner with vendors that can definitely benefit you. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Garrett McDonald, Director of Strategic Partnerships, and Randy Sturdivant, Vice President of Marketing with Infinity Workforce Solutions.
Thanks, Philip. With over 1,500 fleet clients servicing 300,000 employees, Infinity Workforce Solutions is the leader in online training for the transportation industry. In 2019, there were over 10.8 million videos viewed and 4.2 million assignments completed through Infinity Workforce Solutions. Infinity's online training modules are designed by subject matter experts who have real-world experience. Our catalog of over 850 videos provides unlimited, on-demand access to best practice videos. An MIT study shows that 6 minutes is the optimal online learning time, so we try to keep our videos between 3 and 7 minutes in length. We have a proven behavioral change model through frequent and consistent awareness training that drives the right behaviors to reduce CSA violations and accidents. The first thing we're going to talk about is how plaintiffs' attorneys are going to attack your exposure to nuclear verdicts. What are nuclear verdicts? There's an epidemic of nuclear verdicts. The challenge is we don't know who will have one next. They're definitely out there, and we need to be prepared for them. Let's talk about that and what it may mean to you. While nuclear verdicts are a threat, liability limit settlements are impacting everyone. Liability settlements seem to be trending higher rather than lower. However, there are things that you can do to help. The better your documentation of training and ability to provide proof of following policies and procedures, the more likely you are to fall on the lower side rather than the higher side. The Dirty Five is a way the plaintiff's attorneys attack your company to try to move the settlements from the low side to the high side. The first thing they're going to look for is driver fatigue, or whether or not your drivers are driving within the hours of service limits. The way to combat that is to keep good logs. Provide proof of frequent training and reminders for drivers on drowsy driving and log maintenance. Making sure your drivers are aware of how important it is to drive within the limits of hours of service, because there's exposure when driving outside of the hours of service limits. The plaintiff's attorney can say the driver should not have been in there in the first place. You want to make sure your drivers are abiding by the hours of service limits, because no matter how tired they are, it's the measurements of being outside those boundaries that the plaintiff's attorneys will go after. Second is distracted driving. A way to combat this is by providing in-cab cameras, frequent training, and reminders for drivers on distracted driving. It is also a good idea to make sure your policies and procedures are understood and followed regarding distracted driving. Third, we have driving under the influence. Be consistent in following your drug and alcohol testing procedures, and ensure your drivers have awareness training to help them be cognizant of the impact of driving under the influence and have a full understanding of your rules or policies. The fourth thing the plaintiff's attorneys will look at are your maintenance issues. Make sure you've got good processes in place to stay on top of your maintenance requirements, and also that your drivers are completing proper pre- and post-trip inspections. It is imperative that maintenance is informed of any necessary repairs. Finally, inexperienced or poorly trained drivers. If you've hired a driver who is inexperienced but meets your requirements, make sure you've taken all necessary steps to train that inexperienced driver. Saturate them in defensive driving before they ever come in to pick up the truck. They need to be fully aware of the policies and procedures of your company and follow all regulations related to safe driving. It's good practice to ensure you have best practice training as a part of your corrective action process. In addition to setting good examples and disciplining poor behavior, the driver needs to understand the proper way to respond to corrective action. Through our partnership with Nationwide, you can work with your risk specialist to build out a lesson plan relating to your loss data as well as the content that can be provided for ongoing training to keep awareness top of mind through monthly assignments. By extending your orientation training over a longer period, you're allowing your drivers to learn at their own pace, which causes them to better comprehend the information. When you incorporate pre-orientation into your orientation process, you get better buy-in and understanding on what the drivers need to know to be successful while leaving more time to build the one-on-one relationship. Since 96% of Americans have smartphones, our learning is designed for smartphones as well as tablets, laptops, and desktops. The number one thing that has to happen to have a successful training program is participation. We've made it easy to access from any device, simple and intuitive to operate, and short videos to not interrupt workflow. Our program is designed to get participation and drive behaviors that will help drivers make better decisions on the road. Infinity's online training modules are comprehensive, not complicated. We help your drivers understand complex regulations and how they apply to their real-world jobs. Our learning modules are designed by subject matter experts who not only understand adult learning theory, but are experienced in their field. Our training is self-paced. Drivers can complete training on the road or at home whenever it is convenient to them, increasing employee satisfaction and participation. Our client success team will work with you to integrate your current training content into your new Infinity safety training system. With our unlimited usage model, you have the ability to create your own custom content, or we can work with you to design what is needed to enhance your safety culture. To learn more about how corrective action, ongoing, and pre-orientation training can minimize your exposure to both nuclear verdicts and claims or settlements reaching liability limits, go to infinityworkforce.com/ppc/nationwide-EF.
Okay, the first question is, can we get a copy of the presentation emailed to us? And the answer is absolutely. Philip, if you'll give us the emails of the people who requested a copy, we'd be glad to support that. And they also have the ability to, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say on the Infinity Workforce Nationwide referral page, there'll be a copy of the presentation posted there as well.
Well, we want to thank everybody for, go ahead, Philip.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if there's any further questions, there was an email in the invite. You can always email the LC help at Nationwide, or my email was the email address that's sent. So you can email me questions directly, or you can get in touch with your risk manager that works with you, and they can either answer questions or get the questions to the proper people. So, but thanks everybody that attended.
Excuse me, this is Steve, Randy, Philip. There is a question here. Does the training videos break down things like hours of service requirements?
Yes, it does cover full training in the hours of service requirements. It may be split into separate sections to cover it and make it more digestible, or to have better understanding of the regulations, but absolutely we cover all of those. Anything related to the CSA regulations or potential violations, we have content on.
When you were discussing the Dirty Five, you mentioned driver fatigue. What courses do you have to combat driver fatigue?
Driver fatigue is very hard to prove and is something the plaintiff's attorneys go after. A trucking company's best defense is to make sure that they have documented fatigue management training for all of their drivers. That lets the courts know that you realize fatigue driving is a safety issue, and as a result, it is mandatory training for all drivers. When the trucking company can prove their due diligence, that should reduce or eliminate punitive damages as it relates to fatigue. We have several topics, including hours of service training, to remind your drivers how to do manual hours of service in case their ELD is inoperable. Additionally, we have an extensive list of content related to driver fatigue available in both English and Spanish. To request one of our trucking catalogs, please email me at garrett.mcdonald@verticalag.com.
Am I in trouble if I don't have cameras on my trucks?
Currently, there is no regulation requiring cameras. Dash cams are growing in popularity because of their ability to defend a driver who has been unfairly accused of an accident. While some companies are hesitant to ask their drivers to use both inward and outward facing cameras, recent data has shown that about 70% of the time, the cameras prove the truck driver was not at fault. Some plaintiffs' attorneys are claiming that a trucking company is negligent and not focused on safety because they have not purchased available technology for their trucks. Cameras, lane departure warning systems, etc.
Should drivers be allowed to train at home? What about their logbooks?
Your drivers should complete training while on duty but not driving according to their logs. Most drivers have time while waiting to load or unload to watch a short video and complete a test. Our training does not interfere with daily workflow.
Are the training records generated acceptable by the courts?
Yes, we have provided our third-party time, date, stamped reporting for both discovery and trials.
Do you have training courses that discuss the use of marijuana, since it is now legal in many states?
Yes, we updated our drug and alcohol content in 2019 when these changes were happening. Marijuana is still illegal according to federal law, and trucking follows federal DOT regulations.
How frequently should we train in order to improve our defendability in court?
No one really knows the answer to this question. However, we recommend our clients assign 2 to 4 trainings per month, giving at least 24 to 48 safety awareness touchpoints per driver per year. It is also important to do corrective action training following any violation. This is over and above regular monthly training. The more touch points, the better.